For over 4,500 years, the pyramids of Giza have stood in silence. But what if I told you that beneath these ancient stones lies a secret so powerful, it's been hidden for millennia? A lost chamber, a forbidden inscription, a Vatican codex buried for centuries. And now, an international cover-up unraveling in real time. This isn't just a conspiracy theory. This is the discovery that could rewrite history itself. Stay with us, because what you're about to see was never meant to be found. Since the dawn of recorded history, the pyramids of Egypt have stood as eternal sentinels of mystery. We're taught they were tombs, grand burial chambers for ancient kings. But for centuries, whispers have told a different story. A story of ancient knowledge, of celestial alignments, of something beneath the surface. From explorers to archaeologists, from the Vatican to the CIA, many have come searching. Some claim to find nothing. Others never spoke again. In 2017, a groundbreaking scan using muon detectors revealed a massive void hidden inside the Great Pyramid, one that had never been accessed or documented. Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities downplayed it, but beneath the surface, researchers, whistleblowers, and rogue explorers began connecting the dots. A secret chamber, underground tunnels, and an anomaly directly beneath the Sphinx. Coincidence, or clues left behind by a civilization far more advanced than we've been led to believe? They told me never to speak of what I saw. But once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. In this documentary, we'll dive deep into the mystery, following a trail of ancient clues, suppressed evidence, and forbidden knowledge. We'll speak with experts, decode lost texts, and ask one daring question: what if the true purpose of the pyramids was never funerary? Forget everything you thought you knew, because the secrets beneath the pyramids are about to be unveiled. It all began with a particle. Not a stone, not a scroll, but a subatomic particle known as a muon, an invisible messenger from the cosmos. And it was this unlikely traveler that would shake the very foundations of what we thought we knew about the Great Pyramid of Giza. Muons are created when cosmic rays strike Earth's atmosphere. Unlike light or X-rays, muons can pass through hundreds of meters of solid rock. Scientists use them to peer into volcanoes, and now, into the Great Pyramid. Enter the Scan Pyramids project, a collaboration between Egyptian authorities and international researchers. Their goal: to apply muon tomography and other advanced technologies to see if the pyramid still held secrets. They never expected what they found. A void, not just a crack or hollow, but a cavernous space at least 30 meters long, directly above the Grand Gallery, completely sealed off and unreachable by any known tunnel. The mainstream media went wild. A hidden chamber in one of the world's most studied monuments. It should have been the story of the century. But then, silence. It is too early to speculate. There is nothing of interest. Perhaps just a construction gap. A 30-meter-long construction gap. We are only scientists. We don't speculate. But yes, the chamber is real. And it's unlike anything we've seen. Even more intriguing. The void mirrored the proportions of the Grand Gallery, a corridor so precise, its purpose still baffles architects today. Could the two be related? And if so, why was this space kept secret for over 4,500 years? Some theorists believe this chamber wasn't for the living, or even for the dead, but for something else entirely. A containment area, or a signal receiver. If this chamber exists, and it does, then it changes everything. Because it suggests the builders knew exactly how to embed hidden knowledge, not just in stone, but in space. Which brings us to a curious alignment. The Great Pyramid isn't just big, it's astronomically precise. Its sides align with true north, its dimensions encode pi and the golden ratio, and its shafts point to stars like Orion's belt and Sirius. Could the void be connected to these stellar alignments? Was it an observation chamber, a cosmic map room, or something far more advanced? A 2021 study proposed that the pyramid's internal geometry could amplify electromagnetic energy, especially in its hidden voids. Sound far-fetched? Maybe. But Tesla himself once said the Great Pyramid was more like a power plant than a tomb. In his writings, Tesla hinted that ancient civilizations may have harnessed Earth's natural frequencies. He called it wireless energy transmission. But perhaps, he was merely rediscovering what the ancients already knew. In 1993, a small robot was sent into one of these shafts. It crawled for over 60 meters, only to hit a stone door, with copper handles. A second robot drilled through it in 2002, and found another door. Two sealed doors, no inscriptions, no access, Just silence. And yet behind them, scientists now suspect, might lie another entrance to the mysterious void. What lies behind that final wall? The Egyptian government hasn't authorized further exploration. Requests for permits are denied. Equipment mysteriously breaks down, and whistleblowers vanish from the record. They told us, don't dig, don't question, but we heard the echoes. Something's in there, something ancient, and alive in a way we don't understand. A chamber that's off limits. A 30-meter space untouched by human hands for millennia. Sealed, guarded, and written out of textbooks. What were the builders hiding? In the pyramid texts, the oldest religious writings on earth, the pharaoh speaks of returning to the house of the hidden one, a place beneath the stars, where the gods stored their knowledge. Could this be that place? The smoking gun has been fired. A void has been found. But the real mystery lies ahead. Because in the shadow of the Great Pyramid, hidden beneath layers of sand and silence, ancient tunnels stretch into darkness. Uncharted, forbidden, and possibly, still in use. Beneath the surface of the Giza Plateau lies a second world. A forgotten labyrinth carved through limestone, lost to history and buried beneath layers of denial. These are the forbidden tunnels, sealed off, ignored by official records, yet whispered about for centuries. European explorers like Giovanni Battista Caviglia and Howard Weiss wrote of descending into deep shafts near the Great Pyramid, only to be driven out by foul air, cave-ins, or mysterious accidents. But the most persistent rumors centered around the Sphinx. Local legends speak of doorways beneath the Sphinx's paws, leading into winding corridors that connect to the pyramid itself, an underground network tens of kilometers long, untouched by sunlight for 5,000 years. Even famed mystic Edgar Cayce, dubbed the Sleeping Prophet, claimed that the Sphinx guards a hall of records, left behind by an ancient civilization predating Egypt itself. He predicted it would be discovered in the last years of the 20th century. Strangely, in the late 1990s, seismic surveys did reveal a cavity beneath the Sphinx. A rectangular chamber, echoing Cayce's description. But shortly after the find, all further exploration was shut down. There is no hall of records. This is nonsense from New Age writers. There is nothing beneath the Sphinx. But documents tell a different story. In 1993, geophysicists recorded large hollow spaces beneath the Sphinx's front paws and body. West called it the discovery of a lifetime. But shortly after, his team was denied access. Equipment removed. Permissions revoked. Theories abound. Some say the tunnels beneath the Giza Plateau extend to Saqqara, Abu Rawash, even Heliopolis. Others believe these passageways once held technology, machines left behind by an antediluvian race. And then there's the black goo. In the Serapeum of Saqqara, massive underground vaults once thought to house sacred bulls, researchers found sarcophagi weighing up to 80 tons. But not a single bull was inside. Instead, a strange, tar-like substance coated the inner walls. Testing was inconclusive, organic, but not entirely natural, ancient, but not explainable. Some believe it was a medium, to preserve something other than flesh. A consciousness, a form of data, or something, waiting to awaken. Satellite scans have hinted at more. Metallic anomalies beneath the pyramid's base. Blocked corridors that shift over time. And audio recordings from explorers picking up low-frequency vibrations, like a heartbeat in the stone. Multiple independent groups have attempted to access these tunnels. Most return with broken equipment, corrupted footage, or not at all. Over a dozen unauthorized explorers have vanished while trying to find these subterranean paths. Egyptian authorities claim they were trespassing. But families believe something far more sinister lies below. Dr. Bolter, these tunnels are real. I've spoken to archaeologists who were inside. They describe massive chambers, strange inscriptions, and doors sealed with liquid metal, as if someone didn't want them opened, ever. Ancient texts describe Duat, the Egyptian underworld, as a series of gates and trials beneath the earth. Not just spiritual realms, but literal geographic maps, complete with river-like passageways and guardians of fire and sound. What if the Duat was real? Several researchers have overlaid maps of the Duat onto the Giza Plateau, and the match is eerie. The Nile is the celestial river. The chambers as gates, and beneath the Sphinx, the entrance to the first trial. What lies beyond the first trial? Is it just myth? Or are we staring at a multidimensional construct, an interface between consciousness and matter, preserved in stone? In 2020, thermal scans revealed heat anomalies under the western edge of the Great Pyramid. Days later, The project was inexplicably cancelled. No explanation, no report. But insiders say the heat signature wasn't just warm, it was moving. Why does Egypt guard these tunnels so fiercely? What's being hidden from the world? And could the secrets beneath Giza be far older than dynastic Egypt itself? Coming up next, we dive even deeper. Past forbidden gates and into chambers not marked on any map, where light itself seems afraid to enter. In the next section, the chamber that shouldn't exist. In 2017, the world was stunned by a groundbreaking revelation. A team of international scientists, using cosmic ray muon detection, uncovered a void inside the Great Pyramid, a space over 100 feet long, completely sealed, and completely unknown to modern archaeology. They called it the Big Void. It's not a mistake, it's not erosion. This chamber is intentional, cut directly into the pyramid's core. But here's the kicker, there's no known entrance. No shaft, no crawl space. It exists in isolation. Almost like it was never meant to be found. Dr. Tayubi. We're not saying it's a hidden room filled with treasure. But we are saying it's a deliberate architectural feature, and that's incredibly rare. But is it just rare, or is it forbidden? Some researchers believe this chamber aligns perfectly with the central star of Orion's belt, the same constellation many ancient civilizations associated with the afterlife, and with visitors from the sky. Coincidence, or design? The ancient Egyptians believed that Osiris, their god of resurrection, lived in Orion. Could this chamber be a celestial gateway? A kind of spiritual launchpad? Or something far more literal? Here's where things get truly bizarre. Several fringe scientists, dismissed by mainstream Egyptologists, claim that when standing in the Grand Gallery at certain times of the year, low-frequency sounds emanate from above, from where the Big Void lies. Not just vibrations, but tones. These tones fall into the 110 Hz range, known in acoustic science as a frequency that can induce altered states of consciousness. Temples around the world, from Malta to India, have similar acoustics. But why would the inside of a pyramid be designed to change human perception? Some speculate the Great Pyramid was not a tomb, but a resonance chamber. A machine, a device built to focus sound, light, and energy. In the Big Void, a reactor core. Let's pause and consider this. If the Great Pyramid was part of an energy network, what was it powering? What if that sealed chamber, hidden, sound-sensitive, and inaccessible, wasn't empty at all, but occupied? In texts like the Pyramid Texts and Book of the Dead, there are cryptic references to those who slumber within the stone. Not mummies, not gods, but something in between. Consciousness, encased, waiting. Whistleblower. I saw the scan overlays. That void isn't just hollow. There's metal inside it, something geometric, symmetrical, not natural. Let that sink in. Metal, inside the Great Pyramid. In the 1950s, a now suppressed Egyptian report mentioned magnetic anomalies deep inside the pyramid. It was dismissed as a flaw in the compass. But recent reanalysis of those records shows the anomaly lines up exactly with the Big Void. Whatever lies inside is not stone. It has mass. It reflects particles. And yet, no one has entered. No one has tried. Or have they? In 1986, a classified operation took place involving military engineers and unknown, scientific observers. What were they doing inside Khufu's pyramid in the middle of the night? There are no official records. But a former translator for the Ministry of Antiquities said she saw a memo titled "Greater than Chamber Access, Non-Invasive Resonance Drill." She was fired the next day. Some believe the chamber holds an AI-like consciousness, not artificial, but ancient. Biological. Encoded not in circuits, but in geometry and harmonics. Could the Big Void be a form of memory storage? A vault, a sarcophagus of thought? And is this why modern powers refuse to investigate further? Not because there's nothing there, but because they already know what's inside. And here's where it gets even stranger. The Bent Pyramid, less famous, more enigmatic, contains two chambers connected by a strange vertical shaft. A shaft not wide enough for a person, but just wide enough to pass an object. An object found in one, and moved into the other. But moved by whom, and for what purpose? Ancient depictions show priests carrying orbs from one structure to another, guided not by roads, but by light paths. Described in symbolic terms as the Eye of Ra, and the Serpent's Current. Energy, motion, memory. The pyramids aren't just monuments, they're nodes in a network. In the Big Void, it's the central server. What if that chamber wasn't meant to be entered? What if unlocking it would release something not seen since the age of Atlantis. Or worse, what if it was never meant to be opened by us? Coming up next, our journey takes us into the most controversial discovery of all, a machine buried under the sand, older than Egypt, and still, possibly, active. In the next section, the machine beneath the sand. Beneath the feet of tourists and archaeologists alike, under centuries of sandstorms and silence, lies what some researchers believe is the key to it all. A structure, buried, forgotten, and deliberately hidden, that could explain everything. And if the evidence is correct, it's not Egyptian. In 2015, a team of geophysicists conducting a seismic survey discovered a large rectangular anomaly, approximately 50 meters below the surface, near the base of the Great Pyramid. It wasn't just a hollow chamber, it was composed of materials more reflective than granite. Possibly, metal. The structure is circular, gear-like, with spokes radiating from a central hub, far too precise for natural formation. When data was cross-referenced with older excavation records from the 1930s, many of which were classified or lost, it matched descriptions of something the early diggers called greater than the Iron Heart. What was in those crates? Why were British military officers overseeing a civilian excavation? And why did all records suddenly cease, in 1933? Rumors swirled. The team fell ill, equipment malfunctioned, strange lights were seen in the sky over Giza. One report described an electrical humming, coming from the sand itself. And then, silence. Here's where the dots begin to connect. Tesla believed that energy could be pulled directly from the planet's ionosphere and amplified through resonant structures. He even patented a device, the magnifying transmitter, that looked eerily like a stepped pyramid. What if Tesla wasn't inventing something new, but rediscovering something ancient? Some theorists argue that the three pyramids are part of a larger system, an energy machine stretching across the entire plateau. And beneath it all, buried deep, the generator. It's long been known that the core stones of the Great Pyramid contain quartz, a mineral with piezoelectric properties. When compressed or vibrated, quartz generates electricity. Could the ancient builders have known this? Could they have designed a system where vibrations from the earth, or even sound, generated usable power? In Egyptian mythology, there are repeated references to a power source buried beneath the sands. A flame that never dies, placed there by the first ones, a race said to exist before the first sunrise. Was this merely poetic, or a warning? In 2020, leaked infrared satellite data showed unexplained heat signatures emanating from several points beneath the surface, including one exactly where the turbine-shaped structure was detected. This, despite no volcanic activity, no geothermal vents, and no infrastructure. Something is warm, underground, and possibly active. Even stranger, some researchers claim the site is emitting a low-frequency pulse. A hum that seems to spike every equinox, as if something is syncing with celestial alignments. But why, Dr. Manser? There's a pattern in the pulses. It's not random. It resembles a signal, a repeating series of beats. Almost like a countdown. A countdown to what? The ancients spoke of a serpent of light that would rise when the world entered a new age. Some believe this was metaphor. Others believe it's a literal device, reactivating, piece by piece. Here's where it gets global. When you connect the locations of ancient pyramids, from Egypt to Mesoamerica, to China, to Bosnia, a pattern emerges. They fall along electromagnetic ley lines. Almost like a grid. And every grid needs a control center. If the Great Pyramid is the interface, then the buried machine is the engine. In the Cold War era, both the US and USSR reportedly investigated geo-energy devices at ancient sites. One heavily redacted CIA document references non-nuclear energy signatures in the Giza region. It ends with the phrase, greater than, potential applications, weaponization, interstellar communication. Let that sink in. Is the machine still running? If so, what is it powering? Some say it's dormant, others believe it's waking up. Was this a warning, or a failsafe? In our final section, we bring everything together. The timelines, the tombs, the tunnels, the tech. Could the Great Pyramid be a beacon? And if so, who was it built for? And more terrifying still, who is it calling? Let me know when you're ready for the final section, the return signal. This is where all the mysteries converge, and it gets wild. For centuries, humanity has looked to the stars and asked, are we alone? But what if the better question is, were we ever? What if the pyramids weren't merely tombs, or temples, or tributes to gods, but part of a cosmic equation? A beacon, a broadcast, a return signal, and it has already been sent. In 2008, the SETI Institute detected a repeating narrow-band transmission, originating from the direction of Orion's belt, the very stars the pyramids align to. It pulsed once every 11 minutes, with strange mathematical patterns. Prime numbers, ratios matching the dimensions of the Great Pyramid. At first, it was dismissed as a quirk of space noise. Until the pulses matched a pattern detected underground at Giza, one discovered only months earlier using seismic monitoring. Two identical rhythms, one from the stars, one from the sand. Were we responding, or had we already responded, unknowingly? Ancient myths speak of a time when sky gods came down in columns of light, gifting knowledge, tools, and warnings. Warnings of what? In 2023, a remote-operated drone scanned a forbidden subchamber. What it captured is still classified, but a leaked still frame shows what appears to be a stellated object, a geometric form associated with hyperspace mathematics. Inscribed on its side, greater than, we wait beneath. The signal must return. The Dogon say their ancestors were visited by beings from Sirius. They were taught astronomy, architecture, and warned of a time when the great stars would rise again. What if Giza wasn't just a receiver, but a transmitter? What if the architects weren't from here, but left a message here? A message we've just now begun to read. Every 26,000 years, Earth's axis realigns, a cycle the ancients called the Great Year. The last time Orion stood directly above Giza at this angle, civilization was reborn. The next alignment, soon. Some believe this will trigger the final phase of the machine. That the return signal, a code hidden in stone, light, and frequency, is nearing completion. But what will answer? What if the Great Pyramid isn't a tomb, but a time capsule? A memory, for when its builders return. Or worse, a key. But what if it's meant to be opened, from within? The sands of Egypt have kept their secrets for over 4,500 years. But now, with each discovery, the story grows stranger, deeper, more urgent. Is it all just coincidence? Or have we just deciphered the first line of a message left for us by an intelligence far older than history? Because if the pyramids are trying to tell us something, the question isn't why they were built. It's what happens when the signal is answered. Voiceover, intense whisper. They buried the past to protect the future. But now, it's awakening. Uncover more secrets with us. Like, subscribe, turn on the bell, don't miss a clue. Because what's hidden is meant to be revealed.